Welcome back. My name is Brian, and today I'm going to do another contest entry. This one is for Jonathan, the Cheap and Cheerful record collector. I subscribed to his channel some time ago, and I can tell you that he's definitely cheerful. I haven't figured out if he's cheap yet. I've looked at a handful of his videos. I find them quite entertaining. And he made a resolution this year to buy fewer records, which I have to say I sort of chuckled when I heard that, because I'm not actually sure if that's possible. It seems a little too aspirational. But instead, his decision is to dig into his collection and find things that maybe he hasn't listened to in a while. So the challenge then is for us to dig into our collections and choose records in parts of your collection, categories or genres that you haven't listened to in a while, but that you like, but for some reason or not haven't paid much attention to recently. So that's what I'm going to do. Although I'm not going to commit to buying fewer records. So it's probably impossible to live in Canada and not know who Bob and Doug McKenzie are. So this is my first category, comedy, and yes, I do have a small comedy collection. I'm old enough to remember that if you wanted to hear comedy, your choices were late night television, Saturday Night Live, maybe a special, and in Canada, a show called SCTV. So this Great White North skit debuted on SCTV, I think, in 1980. This record came out in 1981. It's called The Great White North. And I'm sure this was popular, beyond Canada. It's Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas, who are Bob and Doug, and they had this skit about Great White North. There's always lots of beer. Hosers saying A lot, because that's a stereotypical Canadian accent to say A. And the record actually starts with, "This is our album A," and it ends with, "Okay, this is the end A." So inside you have what looks like a newspaper, the Hoser Times, including a crossword. Back, lots of photos of drinking beer. The toques on the front. So it's kind of a stereotypical view of Canada, but I think it was funny. And there was a movie that came out after this. But it does have music on it too. So there's Take Off, which is the song that many people would know. That features Geddy Lee of Rush. So Rick Moranis and Geddy Lee knew each other in grade school, and so I guess that's how they recruited him. That song at the time it was released charted higher than any Rush song at the time. So it was actually quite popular and probably gave Rush a lot of exposure. I always think of this as a Christmas record, though. In some respects, this could go into the Christmas collection because of the 12 Days of Christmas, which is Bob and Doug's kind of irreverent take on that song with a lot of substituted things, like on the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a beer. So that fits. So this is comedy. I haven't listened to this in, maybe since the time. I don't know. Maybe it's been that long. It's a humorous record. I'd be curious to see if it actually is dated or is aged well. So for the second category, I decided to go with various artists. So that would include like compilations or soundtracks. So this is a soundtrack from the movie called Salvation. It's a black comedy about televangelism. I have not seen this film. I don't know anything about it. I do know that Viggo Mortensen is in it. That's the only thing I know. But there's an interesting collection of people on here. New Order, I think, has 4 tracks on here. There's a couple tracks from Cabaret Voltaire, which is like a proto-industrial unit. Arthur Baker, who I guess is best known as a DJ, but did a lot of production and remixing. And then a couple of people I actually forget about. Like there's something called Jumpin' Jesus. I don't know who they are, and I can't remember the song. Dominique, I don't remember, and The Hood. I don't remember those songs, so it tells you I haven't listened to this in a long time. And oddly, I've never seen the film. I don't even know if the film was any good or not. But maybe someday I should look at the film. But I should definitely listen to the record again, because I think this is the first time that Touched by the Hand of God by New Order was released. I think this is the first place it showed up. I could be wrong about that. So for the next category, I am choosing box sets. And I've heard many people say, box sets are they're great, fantastic, but sometimes they're a little, you don't play them because you have to pull them off the shelf, and sometimes they're in a box and a slipcase, and then you have to pull the records out, and then sometimes you don't remember or you can't be bothered to do that. So the box set I'm going to talk about is Laurie Anderson's United States Live. This was released in 1984. This has 5 records in it. This is the second thing she released after big science. So you'll find on here, oh, Superman. Language is a virus from outer space, which I think is the William S. Burroughs quote. I think From the Air is on here, let X equal X. She's a avant-garde performer, vocalist, percussion. I think she violin, perhaps keyboards, I think. And, you know, the challenging thing about this is you have to decide if you're going to listen to the entire thing or just part of it, because you're in for a long listen if you're going to listen to the whole thing. But this is, I think, really great. The box itself is kind of flimsy, you know, and I see a lot of these in stores that are completely falling apart. Mine is still in pretty good shape. I can't remember what I paid for it, but probably like, I think $15. And then every record has, you know, different colored labels, different designs on the sleeves on each one. So this one references Oh Superman. You've seen the video, or this 12-inch single has this symbol on it. There, United States. Some of these tracks appear later, like Languages of Virus appears on Home of the Brave with Adrian Belew on a guitar. So I think this is really interesting. And again, I haven't listened to this, and I can't even tell you the last time I listened to this. I really honestly don't remember. But I should. But I don't know if I'm going to listen to the whole thing all at once. The next thing I chose was from the rock and pop category, and that's the majority of my collection by far. And I pulled out an artist that I admire, and he's probably better known as a producer. But that's Rupert Hine. This is Waving Not Drowning. He was in a number of bands, then it was in a band called Quantum Jump, and then he had a solo career, but he's known, I think, as a producer primarily. He produced Tina Turner, Suzanne Vega, Howard Jones, The Fix, a Canadian band called 8 Seconds, Thompson Twins, gonna forget people, Krista Berg, I think, so a lot more than that. That's just sort of like tip of my brain there. This record, though, I think is fascinating. And I had a friend in my undergrad who would come to my room every so often and drop off music for me to listen to. And so one day he came in with a cassette of this. And I put on the headphones and was kind of mesmerized just by the first track, 11 Faces, which I think is fantastic. There's a lot of more sort of quieter ambient pieces on here, but I think this is the setup is a song that might have had some attention. The really tragic thing for me is that this record you can find in used record stores for $3. In fact, all of his records, except for Quantum Jump and maybe his first 2 records. But this one and Immunity, Wildest Wish to Fly, they're so cheap, and it really kind of irritates me because I think they should demand more value, because I think it's good. I love the album cover here. I think that's pretty, I don't know, sinister, a little dark maybe. Unfortunately, he died a couple of years ago in 2020, after leaving a legacy of just a huge number of artists that he's produced. You probably have a record in your collection that he had a part in. So really interesting music. And I haven't listened to this for so long. I can't remember the last time I listened to this, but definitely I should change that. So the last category, I went for country music. And it's a bit strange because I don't have a lot of country music, and I'm not even sure I like it. You know, most people who like country music will give an exception to Johnny Cash, and I do as well. But I grew up in a house that had a lot of country music. So my mother especially, you know, Charlie Pride, Charlie Rich, you know, I'm going to forget all their names, but a long list of country music. So there's a lot of country music records in our house. My dad liked country music, but he became more of an interest in pop later. My cousins and uncles and grandparents all were really interested in country music, and so I sort of kind of didn't really love it and kind of went the other way because I was a little, I don't know, I didn't really love the sound of it. But anyone would have to say that Patsy Cline had an amazing voice. So this is a collection of live tracks from the Grand Ole Opry, recorded between 1956 and 1962. And I have to admit that I'm so out of touch with her that the one thing I discovered just recently is that she died in 1963 at the age of 30. So she died very young in a plane crash. I didn't know that. So this is, people will know Crazy. I mean, I Fall to Pieces, Crazy. Those are probably songs that everyone, Walking After Midnight, I'm sure everyone knows those songs. I think I listened to this record once. I think it came out in 1988. I think I listened to it once and only once. So I should definitely try again because despite the fact that I'm not a huge country music fan, she has a fantastic voice, and I guess sort of now we can say, I know she had kind of a tragic end to her life. I think I just read recently that she said that getting on that plane, bad weather, if I die, I die, and and she did, which is sad. But this is definitely a record I should listen to. So thanks, Jonathan, for the contest. Hope others join in and check out Jonathan's channel. And thanks once again for watching. Until next time, bye.